My name's Diane. You're currently watching Just Kidding Around. Thank you so much for joining us each week. We introduce the audience to different crafts and hobbies that can be done by people of various ages. We like to encourage our families to spend lots of quality time together. I want to start the show by saying hi to Mr. Feeney and hi to the students at South Bay Elementary. And hello also to Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Diane.
This is the first time Kim's been on our show.
Yes, it is.
And so you work at...
I have my own business.
Okay.
I have my own business, and I contract out to different elementary schools and senior centers and Alzheimer memory care centers.
So we heard about Kim because you made these beautiful wind chimes down at the senior center.
Yes, we did.
And that's how we heard about you. And we want to thank you so much for sharing your talent and joining us on the Just Kidding Around show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay.
We are going to make some wind chimes. Usually a clay project takes about 2 weeks, but we're going to condense it for your show.
Okay. 2 weeks into 20 minutes.
There we go. There we go. So I have, just to get started, we're just going to get going on it.
Yep.
We have some raw clay here. This is a Coleman raku.
Does it matter what kind of clay?
As long as it's a low fire clay, no, it doesn't matter. And you'll just want to move our finishing part off to the side.
And we have some special canvas here.
Yeah, this is just a cotton tablecloth or canvas. I bought this at just a fabric store. Right off the bolt, wash it to get the sizing out. This protects your table, and it releases the clay. If you work on a bare table, your clay will stick, and what you make is then...
So if our families are going to do this, they have permission to tape the show and get supplies. What if they can't afford to go out and buy special material?
I think that towels.
Towel?
Not a terry cloth towel. You don't want anything with nubs or that's going to give your clay texture.
Okay.
And the weave on this is real tight, so any discarded garments that could be cut open could work.
Okay, and they would release the...
Right, you don't want to use paper or a bare plastic or wood table. So we're going to just get started with the clay, warming it up.
Does it matter what kind of clay they use?
This is a Coleman raku, a low fire.
Low fire.
I also,
as long as it's low fire.
And I also use terracotta clay. From time to time. It is red, so your glazes will oftentimes show through. This fires up this nice white pink color, so it accepts any light to dark color. So we just want to kind of flatten this out.
Can we use rolling pins?
We're going to, as soon as we get these flat enough. And I believe my rolling pins are in that metal can. Are there 2 round rolling pins? Oh my goodness, I didn't.
No rolling pins? I wonder if the studio has some in the kitchen. Do you think? Oh boy, that does release. That just comes right off.
Yeah, see, that's it. Just turn it. We'll just turn it, and what we're going to do is we're going to improvise. I've done this before without rolling pins. Usually I use closet doweling that's been cut to about 12 to 16 inches, and then it just rolls.
So doweling. Okay.
And I've recycled many a closet doweling. So we're going to do this with our hands. We just don't want it to get thinner than these side sticks. So, and that's why it's nice with the rolling pins, and I apologize for...
Could I use this as a rolling pin?
You could. The problem is your sticks need to be on either side of your clay, so that you never get thinner than this 1/4 inch.
Oh, what a clever way to do that.
Too thin, and you risk when the clay is green or before it's been fired the first time. If it's too thin, it'll break.
I see. If you have a rolling pin, it extends over these.
Correct. Correct.
Did you think that up?
No, I did not.
You learned on the clay.
There are other clay geniuses in this world.
Clay geniuses. And now you do this with Alzheimer patients?
I do this with Alzheimer and dementia patients,
and they can do this. So
they can do this, and that's what's wonderful about anyone with arthritis. Problems with fine motor skills, getting into working with clay is just a really good way to exercise and get some therapy and
For their hands. So
for
people
their
with
hands.
arthritis, this is good for. I think it'd make it worse, but it makes it better.
No, it's just
moving the hands.
it's just a slow process, and especially when you have the rolling pin, it's a lot easier. So just keep pressing and turning it over.
And 1/4 of an inch, you said.
Would you like to trade, and I'll work with yours, and you can finish
Okay.
working with mine?
Oh, yours looks good. Is mine
Yours
thicker
is
than
good. Yeah, it's just a little bit thicker, and this will help get it. But the Alzheimer's patients, it's oftentimes reminiscent of rolling pie dough or cookies, sugar cookies.
Oh, how precious.
So we get this good and
Well, hopefully you don't try and eat it.
no, and the clay's not toxic. You have to watch small children as well with the clay and the paints and things. With our older
look at
students.
Our smart crew.
Wonderful.
Oh my gosh. I was wondering what
I
are they
think
doing?
this one
and
will
they
work
even
great.
warmed it up.
That'll work
What a
great.
smart crew. So if you don't have a rolling pin,
A round tumbler will
how
work.
smart is that? Hey, it saves us money. How smart is that? And I like that if you go over the stick. Oh, it was Pat Jeffries that did that.
That is
so
like a
clever.
MacGyver. That is a MacGyver.
Like a MacGyver. Use glasses for rolling pins. I love it. I love it.
Okay, this is perfect.
That
Here,
is
try
so
that.
clever. And then if you have a lot of family members and only one rolling pin.
And then the nice thing about the clay too is that cleanup is easy. It's starting to dry on my hands and kind of powdery, but just washing it off and
So it's no big deal.
no big
So
deal
this
at
would
all.
be something a 5-year-old could do with grandma or grandpa.
Have done it. I
How
have done
precious
it in
is that?
elementary schools, different times of years, different times of the year with the seasons, making Christmas ornaments. At one facility, we made an Easter tree and cut out lots of bunnies and eggs and flowers and
And multi-age. did it?
sure did. Okay, so we don't need the sticks anymore.
That's all we needed.
That's all we needed the sticks for. What we're going to do is from this piece of clay in the round shape, we're going to texturize and cut out the pieces. So I have just, these are simple around the house things. This is a spigot handle. And it's one of my favorites. I don't know if we have anything with that on it. I have some bolts. I have some clothespins.
Okay.
And some kind of lock gadget, a honey dripper.
So they could just go have like a little hunt around the house.
Little
before
treasure
they
hunt,
started.
scavenger
How
hunt.
cute is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Grandma and grandpa and grandchild.
And then these crocheted doilies are also a wonderful texturizer.
So now we're gonna
So sure.
any texture.
Any texture that you want, you can pick a theme, and you're going to want, this is where the rolling pin comes in handy, but I think that this piece will work. If you want the doily, I'll show you how this works. You just press it in a little bit without making it too thin. You just want the impression of the lace doily. So then when I peel it away, the lace is on there. Then when this is cut apart,
Ooh.
which is one of the things that we'll do, and glazed, the glaze gets into these little nooks and crannies.
And it makes more reflections or something?
It just gives more texture. The color's darker in the cracks and crevices. The spigot looks like a flower or a sunburst. And you just press it in to get the design.
Now, didn't you say you had these chimes in the art walk?
Yes, our
Your seniors?
the Alzheimer's patients in Tumwater, we had a 6-week session in making these. It takes a week to 10 days, depending on the humidity, to dry before they can be fired. I go back, we paint and glaze, I fire them again, and then we string them on the driftwood pieces and beads. So it was definitely a collaborative effort.
So are you talking about the downtown art walk? Mm-hmm. I thought.
The Alzheimer's Council has a spot where they display different works and information about their services.
How
and so
wonderful is that? Wow.
we've had different facilities and different exhibits over, I think I've done this with them the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
So I'm just
Oh, you're
kind
just
of
making different. You didn't,
all
you know.
over.
Okay.
But I like the doily effect too. Now you can do the other side. The problem that you have with that is that you run the risk of smoothing out the side that's been texturized first. So I always just do something real simple. I'm just going to drag the fork across this to make some lines. Because wind chimes outside, when they blow, they'll twist, and you don't want one side to be decorated and not the other side.
Well, can I make it too thin though? I'm afraid I'm thinning it out too much.
There. It'll be all
Turn
right.
mine over.
Yeah, and you know, something like that, these end of the clothespin's really cute because it kind of looks like bird tracks to me.
Okay, I'll try that on the other half.
So just make them kind of like, and just like, yeah, and then like he's hopping around across there.
Like that?
Mm-hmm. Not too deep. Perfect. You
So
can make little toes. This is a little bit time consuming, but you'll get the idea by making little.
Oh, that would be time consuming.
It would be.
How cute is that?
It's even just cute, just, you know, hopping in a little wave across your clay. So mine's decorated on 2 sides. Yours is just about there.
Yeah, but I think I want to put the toes on them.
Yeah, and that's just a nice sharp carving tool.
Okay, and then what we have to let this dry, you said?
Now, we're not done yet. Now we're going to cut it apart, because what you'll end up with are the pieces like this that I would take home and fire, and then I would come back in a week. But I've got pieces in different parts of the process.
Okay, should I quit messing with this?
Yeah, let's go ahead just for the sake of time.
Okay.
And if you would hand me the other tool on your left, just like what you have. That one, yeah. So this is the part that's always the hardest for me because I love it whole just like this. But we just start cutting it apart. And you want to make sure that your tool cuts all the way down to the tablecloth or the canvas, so then the pieces come apart. You want them about 1 inch thick. You can make them thicker. The different lengths and thicknesses of your clay pieces will create different tones.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Now these are designed to be outside, right?
They are. With the seniors, I use this satin ribbon, which is thicker for them to hold and string. Usually for true outside wind chimes, I use a filament or fishing line.
Because it would endure the weather better.
Yeah, these I think after a period of a hot summer and a lot of moisture, they would tend to rot, I think. Yeah, they would deteriorate. Yeah. So go ahead and cut your pieces.
Okay, and you said 1/4 inch apart.
About 1/2 inch.
Oh, 1/2 inch? Okay.
No, excuse me, you don't want anything much thinner than 1 inch.
So that's 1 inch?
That's about 1 inch. It's a generous inch.
And it doesn't matter which direction I go?
That's up to you. You're the artist. Just all the way across, and then you just separate them out.
And the Alzheimer's patients do this? They can do a straight line, all right?
Well, these pieces in front of us were done by Alzheimer's patients.
Wow. And not just seniors, you're talking about Alzheimer's.
Individuals with dementia, Alzheimer's, memory problems.
Wow.
And most are not able to live on their own any longer, so they're in one of our many facilities here in Thurston County.
Okay.
Okay, so you separate them apart.
Now what about these end pieces?
Well, I took my end piece and I cut this one a little bit shorter, and I cut my tips off. This was here.
Okay.
So once you get them cut, sometimes we leave the tips on. It just depends on how you're feeling about it. And I usually cut the round pieces off. This one's kind of an odd shape, and I might not use it. And then turn one of your pieces over and see if your lace is still, see?
Mm-hmm, it's still there. Yep, still there.
Very good. So I just go across the tops of any of the pieces that I don't like, if it's too pointed, if the bottom's too pointed. If it's an exceptionally long piece, you can cut it in two so that you have two shorter ones.
Does it sound different if they're longer?
Mm-hmm. It sure does. So I would suggest leaving a few at their...
I bet, do they sound pretty?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They do.
This is the first time this show has been on the air since 1989. And we've never done a show on wind chimes.
Oh, gosh.
Amazing, we're on every week.
Well, and wind chimes can be made out of, a lot of different things. I've done them just out of seashells and driftwood and tin lids.
Oh, well, maybe you'll come back again sometime.
Maybe. Don't want that to dry out, so I keep it covered up in plastic. So after you get the pieces to the shape you want,
Okay.
it's very important to go over each one with this handy little drinking straw.
Really?
Poke a hole, because that's how you
got it.
string it. You can't put a string through it if there's no hole.
That's something I'd hate to forget. So,
And we have.
do I have a drinking
You
straw?
do. It is right over underneath one of your clay pieces, I believe. Right
There it
It's
is.
hard to see. Sorry about that. And sometimes I will take...
that lists right out.
It sure does. Sometimes I'll take a piece of the clay and put a hole at each end, so then I could hang a smaller piece of something, found treasure, or a piece of clay or something.
Did you want me to do that?
That's up to you. My philosophy is you are the artist, and we're following these general guidelines, and if it's something that I don't think would turn out, I would encourage you to try something else, but for the most part, it's up to you, your texture, your colors, one hole, two holes, long, short, etc. It's fun to play and experiment. So I've cut a couple of them short. These are like, they call them a clapper on a bell, just a small little.
And okay. Now, is this actually the very wind chime I get to keep?
Yep.
Oh.
I'll make sure that that's yours. I have a kiln at home, so I will be firing these up in about a week. We're due for some good weather, nice and dry, so.
So that means these will dry quicker.
They will dry quicker. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice on kilns? Not that we recommend families to buy kilns, but what if they need something to be fired?
There are a couple places locally that can be where you can take your pieces. I think the phone book would help you find something.
Okay, so art store or something, craft
Correct.
stores.
Mm-hmm. Arts, clay supply places.
Oh, wherever you
things
buy
like,
clay, usually. Oh, okay. Well,
so
that's
this
kinda
is
handy.
as far as we would go with this stage of the clay. And we can use one of these pieces.
What a wonderful gift
I have done
for
this
any occasion.
numerous years. We made bread baskets out of clay one year for Christmas.
Well, no, I was thinking about wind chimes.
Oh,
What a
I've
great
done wind
Christmas
chimes, yeah.
gift, or,
Absolutely.
Mother's Day, Father's Day. For that person that has everything, I bet they don't have homemade wind chimes.
These, you can also use cookie cutters or create your own shapes if someone has a special collection or figurine that they like. You can add that to the clay pieces. So these would just set aside for about a week until we're done with them.
Okay, I want to make one of them a clapper, but I don't know which one. Any suggestions?
Just one of the, you've
One of
got
the
quite a
longer
few,
ones?
yeah, you've got some that are about the same size, and just cut about 2 inches off of a
Which
few
one
of them.
do you recommend?
That one.
And how big is the clapper?
It's mine, I've got 2 different sizes here.
Okay.
And then just make sure that however many short clappers you cut, you add a second hole at the bottom of the
Because you have to
piece.
string it.
Right,
Okay.
so you'll need to have a hole in each of those pieces.
Is there a history to wind chimes? Like, are there books about wind chimes and,
Oh,
and their
sure,
histories?
sure.
I would think
I
there
would think
be.
either the library or computer search would find them.
Yeah, to go to
because
the public
lots of
library or
cultures, you know, there's, you know, keeping the evil spirits away, and some call in good luck and good fortune.
So a teacher could use this as a
curriculum,
part of
their
piece
learning.
of their curriculum,
They sure could.
and their school library would probably be a support to them to find out more information about
oh, yes.
wind chimes.
Yes. Very
Okay.
good. So you've got a hole in the ends of two. Yeah,
I do.
perfect. So we can just put them up on the blue paper, because this is where they'll stay until they go into the kiln.
Okay. We have 2 minutes. Do you think we'll be able to finish in 2 minutes?
I can show this really quick. This is just the special glaze paint. This is a royal blue. So like the finished pieces over there, once they've been fired, and when you paint, you want to get down into the texture lines that you've created, and
Oh, isn't
you let
that
it
beautiful?
you let it dry, and you paint 2 coats.
How beautiful
If
is
the
that?
glaze collects in the hole, you just poke it back out. It goes in the kiln and comes out like
Looking
that.
like this.
And
Oh,
then
so there's not. Oh, wow. Now,
Yeah.
do these break easily?
like a coffee cup, if it fell to the floor, it sure would. And then I've
Can I
learned.
hit them together? I don't want to hurt these though.
No,
These
go ahead.
belong- So is that what they sound like?
No,
in the
because
wind?
you've got some added weight with your hands when they're just on their own. I use pipe cleaners. This is just something I want to share really quick. Pipe cleaners wrapped around the ribbon, folded in half, works very well for my seniors to thread the beads. And what we do is thread a collection of the beads, either in a repetitive pattern or at random, on this string, and it ties to a painted, of course, one of these with the beads on it. And then I go to the beach and collect driftwood, and then we hang them on the driftwood.
Oh, how beautiful is that? So you drive all the way down to the ocean to get this driftwood?
Well,
For your
I have
client?
quite a collection of it if I run low. And I've picked up some of the fir boughs that fall during the windstorms at my house too. But we string the beads
Fun
and string
family
the.
activity.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a finished one, but they're all.
Well, it's such a
Still
nice
tied up
gift
with
of
artswell.
love, because so many times we make gifts and they're maybe out of paper and they fall apart and they don't last, but this would be something that could last for generations.
Lasts for forever. It
Yeah,
sure
and
does.
a kind of gift you could make year-round.
It sure
Because
is.
we always have a little wind out. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming. Will you come back again sometime?
I'm sure I could find the
All
time.
right.
You bet.
And I want to thank Pat Jeffries for being our hero. He
Yes,
came
thank
up with
you.
the
The tumbler
wonderful
rolling
idea.
pin.
That was great. And thanks to Tom Dubuque, who directed this show, Bruce Tenney, Jerry Julian, and Bob Giles, who are our cameraman. Thank you so much. And thanks to our audience. Tune in again sometime for the Just Kidding Around show. Bye.